It's the Charlie Bahama Show. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the Charlie Bahama Show. I am your boy, Charlie Bahama. And man, on today's episode, you guys are in for a treat, let me tell you. First of all, I don't know if you remember the film I did on the swimming pigs a few years back. The first one was When Pigs Swim, and then the second one, based on this book, Pigs of Paradise, just came out 2 years ago, and it's all over the world now and doing really well, and it's telling you about the story about the swimming pigs in Exuma. People all over the world know about this story. Well, we have a treat for you. I have the author of the book, TR Todd, on the show, and also a man that we are so happy to have on the show, Scott Kelly. He's the astronaut who went in space and took pictures of Exuma and said how beautiful the waters of the Bahamas were to him. And man, we are going to have him on the show. We're going to talk about being in space, for one, and two, about seeing the waters of the Bahamas from space. And then, I have to tell you, he was our narrator of our... Oh, thank you, Bentley.
David.
Okay, Bentley, thank you. And we had him as our narrator. He was so gracious to be the narrator of our film, Pigs of Paradise. So, we're going to talk to these two wonderful guys, and we're going to show you clips of our film, Pigs of Paradise, which will be airing on this station. All right? So come on back, Charlie Bahama Show. Hey, welcome back to the Charlie Bahama Show. And now I have an old friend, a comrade, I would say, I guess. We went through film war together, and Jeff Todd is in the house, or he's a author, so it's TR Todd. TR, let's see your coffee and put your pinky out. Let's see it.
Yes, like this.
Yes, there's TR Todd is in the house. Oh, TR, Jeff, it's good to have you on the show. We're back together again. We spent many years, I would say many years together with the swimming pigs.
We did, and it's continued too. It's not like it's become a lifestyle, really.
I know everything. Look, TR. I got my swimming pig here. You see a swimming pig. People send me stuff. Now they think everything is swimming pig. People sending me swimming pig things all over the place. So I'm like the swimming pig guy. Look, swimming pig.
Yeah, I got
even
I got
Ministry of
one of those,
Tourism, you know, the swimming pig. So now tell me, let's get into your aspect of the swimming pigs. People already know that I was the director of the film, but tell me, when you first saw these swimming pigs, what did you think when you first saw these swimming pigs? I guess 8 years ago? I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah, well, the craziest thing about it was when I was I was with the Guardian for those years prior to that, right? And so I remember when I was at the Guardian with the business section, I mean, I didn't even know these pigs existed. You know, it was it just wasn't a thing. And I remember I went to Exuma on assignment, and we didn't see the pigs that day. I went on a boat and I saw some of the surrounding area and everything, but we didn't even see the pigs. I didn't even know they existed. It wasn't until much later when I had actually left the Bahamas, and it was like a blizzard outside, and someone mentioned to me, oh, we got some people going down to Exuma and we'll take them to see the pigs. And I just kind of stopped in my tracks, and I was like, well, what are you talking about? First of all, why are there swimming pigs? I'd never heard of that before. And why is this something I'd want to go do as part of my holiday? It just really wasn't on the radar. It just continuously, defies that expectation as a farm animal in water. And then you combine the utter beauty of Exuma with that expectation, and it just it's simple but powerful, and it endures to this day.
Yeah, and so initially we just did a 15-minute little quirky documentary on how the pigs got there, who put them there, like mysterious. But then it blew up, and so you went ahead and wrote the definitive book, Pigs of Paradise. So tell me about why you thought you had to now write a book from the little 15-minute first documentary.
Well, I as you know, I am a writer, so it's my fourth book, and I guess I was just we had got so into it at that point, and it just we had really kind of unleashed a bit of a phenomenon, honestly, for lack of a better word. I mean, I was talking to somebody in the Ministry of Tourism just the other day, and it's really it's a once in a lifetime marketing campaign in a lot of ways. I mean, I could live my whole life, and we may never have a marketing campaign that was this successful, that had this much reach globally. It really was incredible. And so I remember thinking about it, and I thought to myself, well, why wouldn't I write a book about the pigs? I mean, they've been just an unbelievable story and sensation. And then kind of the writer got me thinking about it even more, and I thought, well, you know what, there's so much more to it than just the attraction. And so really that's what the book does, is it tells us how we uncovered them and how this campaign kind of blew up. But then it takes time to actually talk about the history of Exuma, the history of the Bahamas, really also the history of the pig and as an animal, because I don't think we'd be sitting here talking if it was an island of chickens. There is something inherent about the pig. And so I look at it from a lot of different angles, and I think that's why the book became so successful, because it puts a different spin on the topic.
Yeah, because as you and I have traveled around the world promoting the film and your book, and people all over the world just love these swimming pigs, and to hear about the pigs and the pigs of paradise, and so it is something that just grabs the attention of the entire world. And we're going to show clips throughout this show, so people can see clips of the swimming pigs, and of course they're going to see the full film. Luckily, Bahamians are going to get to watch it, because the reality is people all around the world have seen this film. We've been to London, we've been to Cannes, we've been to LA, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, everywhere, and people around the world have seen this. We have distribution for it around the world, but a lot of Bahamians haven't seen the film, but now on TV they'll get to see it. And tell us about, because you're doing the second edition of this now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the first edition went great. It's turned out to be a really popular gift for people that have seen the pigs or want to go there. I know people are picking it up for Christmas, that kind of thing, because it's a bit of a hybrid between a normal kind of nonfiction book, but then also like a coffee table book, but smaller. Right. So it's got really high quality photographs in it too. So yeah, so it sold really well in the first edition. And reflecting on the whole campaign and looking back, I think the best part of it is, through the book, it touches so many people. And so when people see the book in their home, or or they give a gift, there's such a ripple effect for the Bahamas and the Bahamian economy and the Ministry of Tourism. I mean, people that may have thought about coming to the Bahamas but hadn't yet, now suddenly they're thinking, okay, well, let's plan a trip. And I don't know about you, Charlie, but the most rewarding aspect of all this is that ripple effect. I mean, this has really made a difference. This has created millions and millions and millions of dollars throughout the entire Bahamas, whether it be hotels, tour operators, flights, taxi drivers, restaurants. Yeah, I mean, it's really made a difference in terms of the livelihood of Bahamians and in terms of the Bahamian economy. And it's even kind of morphed into a symbol of the country itself. I remember the moment I really knew the pigs made it. Well, there's a few of those moments I remember where it kind of crystallized, but I remember seeing a Ministry of Tourism poster in Times Square, and it's just the pig in the crystal clear, Exuma blue water, and that's it. Like the pig, the crystal clear blue water, Bahamas logo, tourism logo, and that was it. And that's all you needed. And so I knew when that happened that it was more than that. It kind of become like a Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. And before we let you go, there's a little, you were telling me about a little surprise coming up on your next book?
Yeah. So we haven't really said much about this yet, so you have a little bit of the Charlie Bahama exclusive here. But a old friend of mine, Pauline Davis Thompson, the original Golden Girl of the Bahamas. So her and I have known each other for many years through the Run for Pompeii, which was a charity run that we founded in Exuma, which has been going on for 6 years now. So her and I have been chatting about it for a little while, and very quietly, we've actually started writing her official memoir. I mean, she's had the most unbelievable life from Fleming Street there in Baytown to the top of the world, winning her 2 gold medals. First woman from the Caribbean to win a gold medal, but the accolades just go on and on. Incredible life story. So we started writing her memoir, and we actually hope to have some even bigger announcements in the coming days. But it's, again, this is an amazing Bahamian story, very different than Swing Pigs, but I think it's going to be another great opportunity for the Bahamas to shine.
Well, TR Todd, or my good friend Jeff Todd, it's so good to have you on the show, and hopefully this ride will continue on. And we're going to show you some clips from Pigs of Paradise, and TR, man, you guys stay safe up there and hope to see you back in the Bahamas in Exuma soon. We'll be able to shoot in Exuma soon, all right?
Can't wait.
All right, take care. All right, you guys, some more clips from Pigs of Paradise, and we'll be right back.
Out in the Atlantic, there's an island populated only by pigs. With billionaires and celebrities for neighbors, and for several $1 million, you too can buy an island here. These pigs live rent-free.
The Charlie Bahama Show. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the Charlie Bahama Show. And now I'm so happy, proud, and honored to have astronaut Scott Kelly on the show. It is so good we've worked together because you were so kind enough to be the voice of our Pigs in Paradise film. You've been such a great friend to the Bahamas. And it started with you being in space. But before we go about the Bahamas and your interaction with the Bahamas, tell me about how and why and what made you want to become an astronaut.
Back when I was younger, I wasn't a good student. In growing up, I was one of these kids that couldn't pay attention. I, sat in the back of the room and stared out the window. And school was not my thing. I think I probably had ADD or ADHD, never diagnosed. But then I was in college, I was struggling, and I came across a book, Tom Wolfe's The Right Stuff. And I, just started paging through it. And there's the stories of the fighter pilots that became the test pilots that later became the original Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo astronauts. And I just recognized that, these guys had certain traits that I felt like I had in myself, with one exception, and that is I couldn't do my homework or pay attention. I thought, if I could fix that one thing about myself, maybe I could go on to fly, airplanes in the U.S. Navy. Maybe if not the Navy, the U.S. Air Force. Maybe that'd be easier. You don't have to land on the ship at night. Maybe quite possibly become a test pilot or even an astronaut someday. And I know it's, sounds odd to people. 18-year-old kid reads book, decides he or she's going to become an astronaut. It's a giant leap. But
wow. No one would ever assume that someone who did not do good in school became an astronaut, because you always think of astronauts as being, and I guess you probably are a genius in certain aspects, but you think of astronauts being geniuses and like super smart and got just straight A's.
I'm a below average guy doing a slightly above average job, I think.
Wow. So now you get to space and you're in space. This is something only very few people in the world know how that feels. How does that, can you describe how it feels to look back and see the Earth?
Well, the Earth is incredibly beautiful. The most brilliantly blue, and I think the most beautiful place on Earth is actually the Bahamas. It's such an expanse of these incredible colors. I would often, if there was some new person to space and I noticed we were going to fly over the Bahamas for like the first time they were up there, I'd always make sure I took them to the window and say, hey, check this out. But yeah, our planet's incredibly beautiful. The deserts of, Northern Africa, Australia, all the blue waters around the world. But, it seems like the Bahamas has more of those shallow blue seas really than the rest of the planet combined. Wow, how expansive it is. And but the atmosphere looks pretty fragile. Yeah, there's my book.
Yeah, this is the book. So for all you guys out there who you're hearing Scott Kelly talk about this, you can actually buy his book, Infinite Wonder, and it has all these beautiful photos that he's talking about, and of course our beautiful Bahamas. This is just one of the photos in it of the many of the Bahamas. And of course, just the entire book is just breathtaking, as well as not only seeing the Earth, but you get to see and sort of feel a bit about how you felt up there and seeing a bit of the space station and your environment up there. And that leads us to to you helping us with the Bahamas, because I think that's where it started. You tweeted something about the Bahamas, and the Bahamian government saw that. And so tell us about that tweet, the tweet that went around not only the world, but the universe.
I think it went around the Bahamas. I don't recall exactly what I said. I would oftentimes, take a picture of the country and all the islands, and just tweet about how beautiful it was. And I guess eventually it got noticed by the Bahamian government, and established a relationship with them and tried to promote the Bahamas from a tourism perspective, because I think it's a great place to visit. Not only is it beautiful from space, it's beautiful up close. Those waters are incredible. And, for an American, it's so close. I mean, it's really no different than flying to Florida, basically. Right. Southern Florida, it's basically the same thing, just a little bit further. So it's a place I love to visit, and I hope other people have the opportunity to visit as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks to you, I'm sure millions of people have heard your message about that, and also our film, which is doing fantastic, and also has your voice, which gave us a little more international exposure, which we're really proud of. And we're going to show clips of that, because folks in the Bahamas are going to be able to see that film on television here. It is airing around the world, slowly getting more and more international viewership. But what we're going to do, we're going to show a clip of that, and then we'll come back with more with Scott Kelly on the Charlie Bahama Show.
Spending almost a year in space was thrilling, inspiring, exhilarating, but even distant and lonely at times. Seeing the majesty and beauty of Earth from above kept me grounded. And one place on Earth that kept me mesmerized every time we passed over it was the Bahamas.
The Charlie Bahama Show will be right back. Hey, welcome back to the Charlie Bahama Show, and we are still here with the amazing astronaut Scott Kelly, who helped us out with the Pigs of Paradise film here, and also has a few books of his own, but this Infinite Wonder is a wondrous book. You should pick it up if you can. And you have another book, don't you?
I have a couple.
Wow.
Yeah, this is like my own,
Endurance. Right, that's the book I was talking about, yeah.
I have a kid's book.
Oh, cool.
And I have another kid's book coming out next year that's called Good Night Astronaut. It's about all the places I've slept in my life.
Well, hopefully we'll have you back on the show to promote that book. But you were talking about the pandemic, and you spent a whole year in space, and they did a twin study while you was there.
The study you're talking about, so my brother Mark, also an astronaut, we had the opportunity to do some genetic-based research on this mission that looked at, comparative investigations on our DNA, RNA, proteins, our genes, cognitive effects of being in space. When you're in space for a long time, or even a short time, there's negative impacts on your health. In the absence of gravity, we lose bone mass at 1% a month. We lose muscle mass at a similar rate. There's effects on our immune systems from isolation, actually, and stress affects our immune systems, which is very similar to this pandemic, actually, surprising. A lot of parallels between space flight and this situation we're currently in. The effects of radiation, you get a lot of radiation in space. So, all these things, and the fact that I had a twin brother who was also an astronaut, so NASA had a lot of data on him, allowed us to do some unique research on this year-long mission.
So now you got back home, and thanks to the Bahamas and your love for the Bahamas, you actually got to come to the Bahamas. So tell me about that, when you got to go, and you got to swim with the pigs too, didn't you?
Yeah, the Bahamian government was nice enough to invite me and my family there, and we had a great time. But it was my second chance to go swim with those pigs.
Wow. So listen, this has been so amazing, and I hope to have you back again when your new book comes out. And I was, obviously this is probably the corniest thing ever, and probably a lot of people have said this to you before when you were in space. Did anybody say the corny joke, beam me up, Scotty?
I don't think so.
I'm the first with the corny joke. Oh man.
I mean, people have said that to me before, but I don't think anyone ever said it to me while I was in space.
Oh, okay. All right.
That would have been funny.
Yeah. Well, Scott, I thank you so much. The Bahamas thanks you so much for what you've helped out the Bahamas, and you've always been so gracious. Whenever we've asked for anything, you're like right there. Hopefully this won't be the last time we see you, and when this is all over, come to the Bahamas, bring the family, and relax with people.
Yeah. Would love to do it. Thank you.
All right? All right. Thank you so much, Scott. So here's a few more clips from Pigs of Paradise, and we'll be right back on the Charlie Bahama Show.
I've heard about this, but explain what's going on here.
Oh, those are the infamous swimming pigs of Exuma.
No, I've heard about this now. Yeah. So again, that's LeBron. No, again, these pictures, I think they are photoshopped. He doesn't look like that. He normally wears a one piece. No, this is you, clearly. But the swimming pigs, I've heard about this. The pigs come in and swim with you?
Well, we go in and swim with the pigs. This is their natural habitat. And,
the ocean?
Yeah. Somebody brought them in and they just adapted. And so they're just out there
This is a real, for some kid, is tuning in right now going, what is going on, dude? It's like, swimming pigs, what is...
Follow Charlie Bahama on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or go to charliebahama.com. Well, that was another amazing Charlie Bahama show, and hearing his stories from space, it really is amazing. Maybe we can take the Airstream to space for the next show. I'm gonna try, all right? Me and Bentley are gonna take this Airstream to space on the next show. You watch and see, all right? Until then, you guys be safe, wear your masks, and we'll see you next week on the Charlie Bahama Show. Maybe from space. See ya.
Charlie Bahama Show. 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 Charlie Bahama